It's break time. Welcome to our newest episode. It's your co-host, Rissy Ray,
Hey.
and yours truly, Kaninja. So today we're back on our dating saga of
Dun,
just dun,
dun.
dun, dun. See how excited Rissy is on this one. So today we're going to be talking about dating maintenance. Rissy, what does this mean?
Dating maintenance is when you're seeing somebody, your significant other, and you keep it up. You keep it, things you do to keep the spice, right? To keep it going. Keep that relationship heading direction you want. Okay, that is dating maintenance.
Good
And you
job,
can,
Rissy.
y'all.
And she didn't even Google it like we did in the past.
I know, like, let me do this real quick.
But yes, exactly. Rissy, that's exactly it. Is that we have kind of what we do to keep the relationship going, keep it going. Like, because relationships are effort. They are not something that is easy as you wish it would be. So, Rissy, first, before we get into what we do to keep the maintenance, what are your thoughts around maintenance? Just go for it.
I'm a little bit biased. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll let you hear out about pitch. I'm a little bit biased right now. But what was your question? I'm sorry.
What are your thoughts around like having to have maintenance in a relationship?
Well, Kaninja, to me, it needs to be done. It's required. I love my car. You love your car. But you got to go get an oil change. You got to go get new tires. It's not that you love your car less, but sometimes it's a little bit inconvenient. Just a little bit. I feel like a lot of relationships, you do need to do that. That's why you got people who've been in a relationship for so long with no scandals, right? Because they made sure like that the first time we first met, we're on the phone for hours. I'm over here laying on my couch. We're talking till we go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you hang up. Oh, you hang up. Like, both of y'all hang up. But but it's just that youthful, that fire, that like, why am I with you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it is needed. Now, just like every vehicle, right? Maintenance is different. It depends on how often you do it, and when you do it, how are you doing it? For example, when you have an older car, I'm just using this example, or a car that has higher mileage or whatever, you got to use a certain type of oil. You can't just use any oil. You have to use this particular brand of oil. So you're like, okay, you can't just run gas. You can't just put any gas in certain vehicles. Mm-hmm. Same, basically what it is, but this is what it needs. This is what it needs. It is needed, depending on your outlook, right? Some people do it really good where they're just like, okay, well, I have to call my dude when I get to work, right? And then some of them are like, oh, this one person I was talking to, well, hey, I'm on my lunch break. I gotta call my chick real quick. Mm-hmm. Hey, how you doing? Hey, because they gotta call you on their lunch break. They're like, hey, I got something to do. I'm calling my certificate on my lunch break. But some people might take it as,
I have to do this.
I gotta call them. Mm-hmm. I gotta call them real quick. What? Well, why are you acting? I gotta call them. Yeah. Hey, I'm on my break. Okay.
Yeah. But then at that point, it's like so much more effort than it needs to be to bring that maintenance. And then at that point, and then we can talk about this a little bit later, is like, when does the effort outweigh the benefit of the maintenance? And that's definitely, you don't want to be like, I have to do this now. Like, you don't want to say I have to do this. It's kind of like, okay, well, I want to do this, because of this extra person, that I'm working with here, So yeah, I mean, definitely. I like the analogy that you use as a car, because there's really just different cars and everyone has needs different maintenance. And going back to our love languages, plug in for our love language episode, you know, it is definitely, everyone needs a little bit different maintenance. If someone doesn't like to be called on their break, you know, and you're like, I need to call them on their break, that's not maintenance for the relationship. That's
Sorry.
that's actually hindering the relationship more than maintaining the relationship.
You gotta know, guys. you gotta ask questions. Don't assume, because when you assume, you make a what out of you and me.
Yep, exactly.
But it's needed. Like, you know, like, to me, when I'm in a relationship, I do want to text in the morning. Morning-ish. So if I know you go to work at 8, but I don't get my good morning text till 10, still morning. Now, if I get a good morning text, it is now 12 o'clock. I need a paragraph to go along with it. I need to be like, good morning, my phone died, I got robbed, I got a car accident. I need things to have happened.
Yes.
For me to be rocking and rolling. I'm not going to rock and roll and I haven't heard from you all day. Yeah. I don't care how busy you are.
Yeah.
Because however busy you are, I'm busier. That's pretty much 2 seconds. And no 2-letter responses.
And that kind of goes with the effort. Because if you just say GM, like, okay, you're not even putting thought into it. You're just doing it because you have to. You're not doing it because you want to keep the maintenance going. You're doing it because you have to. At that point, you're not doing it. Like GN, good night. Yeah.
I was like, how? Like, don't text me. Like, to me, those are FU words to me. If I text you a whole good morning plus the sunshine, and you just text me GM, I don't care. Don't tell me an explanation as to why. It doesn't matter, because then now I'm even more pissed off because now you're giving me a whole paragraph of why you text me with 2 letters.
Right. When you could have just did good morning or good night, you know. And that's kind of the thing, is like when you start out dating or talking and you start out with that good morning, good night, that's maintenance. Like, you keep that going. As soon as you change that, that's not maintenance anymore. That's changing a different oil into the car. And slowly but surely, that car is not going to work anymore because you're changing up that oil.
Right. You have to make sure when you're in a relationship situation, you need to make sure that whatever standard you're doing, you can keep it up. Because 9 times out of 10, that's all I hear from other relationships is that, well, he was doing this or she was doing this at the beginning. They're not doing it anymore. That screams something has occurred. Now, obviously, there's always something of value that has happened for it to get like that. But I'm just like, you can't, I'm not saying I don't want no one to feel like they deserve the bare minimum, but it's like, you got to be mindful of what you're giving to people when you first start out. If I was used to this person, I would text him in the morning and then he would do a check-in with me midday. That was like, and then we would talk on the actual phone at night. That was our deal every day.
Right.
And slowly, I wasn't getting my midday check-ins anymore. I'm like, how? Like, what you mean? What? Like, why? Why am I not getting it? Why am I not getting my midday check-ins?
Right. It's changed.
So what has occurred? Do you now feel different about me? And that's fine. Just let me know so I'm not spamming you, right?
Right.
Or you have something happening, like, you know, you're usually you have a break at this time, but you decide to work a little bit longer. What has happened?
Right.
Because again, if you start off doing something, you gotta keep. I mean, that's where I see a lot of issues. Is that you start doing something, and you either don't really do it. You just thought that, oh, this would be kind of cool if I did it, and because of that, you keep a standard where it's like,
yeah. Exactly. You have the false expectations. You're creating false expectations that you cannot maintain. And so you got a Mercedes Benz just because, and now you can't maintain the gas, the oil, the all this other stuff, you know, but now, at least when it comes to car, you're stuck with a Mercedes Benz. And now the Mercedes Benz is going to slowly but surely deteriorate because you're not taking care of it how you should have been when you first got it, you know? And so it's the same thing. It's just like, you need to keep those expectations. So like when you're first dating someone, give them the expectations that you are able to maintain. You know, if you're able to maintain the good morning, good night text, do that. But don't do the midday check-in. You know, if you know you can't maintain it.
So that those things where it's like, and that's, people have to remember. I understand when you date somebody, you want to make people think that you have your stuff together. I get it. Who does not want to have a positive outcome on life? Okay. Who does not want to look good? My car is dirty. I'm a messy person. We just had a conversation, brother. I'm a messy person. And every once in a while, I might clean out my trunk, inside my car. But I'm a messy person. Just because I'm seeing you doesn't mean I'm like, oh, I'm about to see him. Let me go and clean, get this a good old clean. I could just personally because I want to. But if I'm doing it for you, then you're going to find out within a good period of time. You're like, you know, your car was never dirty, but now it's dirty. You know, it's always been like that. It's just I was dating you and I didn't want you to think I was dirty and I'm messy. But you're like, but you are though. Like, but you
Surprise!
And so those are things where it's like, dating means you have to. And I think that equates to, do you want to be in the situation? For example, like being with someone who has like insecurities, right? Like I've dated guys who had girl best friends, right? To me, I'm neither here or there about that. But some people are like, no. Yeah. I'm gonna need you to not be friends or whatever. Right. That insecurity, now you're thinking, okay, they have a girl best friend, or you know, like a gender they could be attracted to as their best friend, and they're like, I don't feel comfortable with this. So what does now this person has to do certain things, right, to make it where the whole relationship is better by making you feel better, and this is how you want to do it.
Right. At that point, if someone were to do that and be like, oh, I'm not comfortable with you having a girl best friend, and you can't maintain that, or you're not happy with it, then you can't maintain that Mercedes Benz. You can't maintain that Tacoma truck or whatever the case, you know? So yeah, like maintenance is super important. I mean, I guess, what are some things that you've done, Rissy, in your relationships in the past that you've done to maintain the relationship?
This person was lied to. Like they would be tell like the past situations where the person the person they were with would say they were somewhere and they weren't. So this person I was talking to, I have an iPhone, so we both had iPhones. So he would never auto call me. He would always FaceTime me all the time, right? And so at first I was like, okay, like I'll do this, you know, I'm telling you I'm getting off of work. Okay, now you see me, FaceTime me, and I'm in the car in my work clothes, seeing me. I was cool for that for a little bit, and I was just like, so you just call me a liar? Like, I don't really, because sometimes I don't want to do FaceTime, because right now, if it's odd, like if I'm just calling you like a regular phone call, I can just set it on my lap, or I can set it, you know, charge it up and put it in the past. Like, I can do other things. But now, because I'm FaceTiming you, I have to go and look into getting a phone holder so I can still talk to you, but you can still see me. Well, why am I doing all this? Right. But that was one of the things I did do. I accepted all of their calls FaceTime. And by the way, I wasn't lying where I was anyway, so I guess I didn't feel any type of way, because I was like, I am at home. Okay, hello. And I put two together. I was like, you've been hurt before? And
So
Yeah,
this person never communicated with you that this was a thing, like insecurity of theirs?
no, I just put two and two together. I was like, did someone hurt you? Like, what you mean? I'm like, you always call me on FaceTime. You don't call me regular. Like, what? You use people like someone lied to you? Yeah. And then they told me the story.
Yeah.
I was like, bingo. But see, I was like, but okay, but I've been doing this for a couple times and I'm over it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really see that. I mean, I'm doing it just to, because I mean, fuck it, I'm good right now. I'm not seeing anybody. I'm not doing anything. And if I was, I would just said I'm busy, or
Yeah.
I could not answer your phone call. I'm being nice right now, but that was one thing recently that I know that I did.
Okay. Yeah. And that makes sense too. And it seems like, like for my instance, there was one thing, like I'm not the biggest fan of certain recreational drugs. I'm not the biggest fan of them. And so in my past relationship, that person was very much into recreational drugs, and not the really hardcore ones, but whatever the case, I didn't like it. But I negotiated and I compromised with that person around these recreational drugs to maintain the relationship, because for them that was like a huge thing for them. Like that was
Oh,
basically a deal breaker for them. And so that's not how it was in the beginning. So back to the expectation part, it was not like that in the beginning, but it became that way, you know, as the relationship came by. So I compromised on that to maintain the relationship. And it created even more strife between the two of us, because that person didn't get all that they wanted. And I gave up what I wanted, and neither one of us were happy with the compromise. Neither one of us wanted to compromise, but we tried to maintain the relationship, and it ended up hurting us than anything else. So, but on the flip side, we're looking at, maintaining as far as something that we didn't really want to do, and that might have hurt us later on. But is there any maintaining a relationship that we're fine with doing that will actually like help the relationship? More on the positive spin. Like, what are your thoughts on that, Rissy?
I mean,
Oh no.
I'm flexible. So in my situation, I'm flexible within a means, right? Like I'm flexible, but at some level, I just feel like I don't know. You answer that one. I forgot my answer because really, I'm just like, because I feel like I put effort for people who I want to put effort in, who showed me effort to put it, that makes me willing to go put the effort in. But if I don't see any effort, okay, let me do this. I'm not a really big texter. I don't really like texting. But because of my relationships with family, friends, and people I used to hang out with, I have learned to compromise and say, hey, not everybody can give me 4 hours a day on the phone or a week. Not everybody can do that. My schedule allows, I make it where I can talk on the phone, but not everybody can. So I guess a positive way, I learned to just really get into texting over the years, and just because some of the people who I met, they're not really talkers, and so it would end up being like talking mostly, and then they just hear me and they'll laugh because I'll be saying some of the stuff I'll be saying. I'm like, why did I even say that? They're just like, you're so funny. You're so funny. I learned to text, so I think that's positive because not everybody can talk, and so being some people who their jobs doesn't allow them to be on the phone, I can still communicate with you effectively.
Yeah.
So I'm learning how to text and be flexible. That is that.
Well, that's a good one. That's a really good one. And mine's kind of the opposite, is being on the phone more often because I am a texter. So, I mean, one thing is like, especially like with Rissy, Rissy's my best friend. So, and she likes to talk on the phone. And typically, I'm not a good multitasker. So, when I talk on the phone, I stop everything that I'm doing. I can't split my time. So, for me, talking on the phone is stopping what I'm currently doing to be on the phone with this person X amount of time. So, and I'm perfectly fine with that. for the people that it's that two-way street. So I'm perfectly fine with giving Rissy 2 hours of my undivided attention, and stopping whatever I'm doing, for 1 or 2 times a week or whatever the case, however much Rissy calls me, unless she doesn't call me, then I call her. And so because something's up. And so, or with the current person that I'm seeing, they're very much like, for them, they need to have that communication at least once or a few times a day. And they like to have that conversation on the phone, even though they're not much of a conversationalist. It's more me, but I think it's more or less being on the phone and hearing the voice is important to them. And so for me, I'm like, okay, I could totally do that, but I just have a hard time. And so they're able to compromise that I may not be my full attention on them, because I've told them that thing, and it kills me because I want to give that full attention, to that person. But they're like, if you gotta put me on speakerphone and give me half the attention, that's perfectly fine too. And so, which is cool, I still stop everything that I'm doing, but it's kind of like that maintenance is like, I'm willing to do something that I'm not used to doing to maintain a relationship, because a relationship's always a two-way street anyway. It's always that give and take, regardless if it's a dating relationship or a friendship relationship. So like Rissy knows I'm a texter, and so is our other best friend is a texter. So she does some texting, but we also know that she's a talker. So we talk on the phone with her, so it does that two-way street that way. So that is kind of what I do too. Along those lines is that maintenance, to keep that conversation or keep the other person abreast of, hey, I still value you. I'm still able to put in this effort that I did in the beginning, because it's not as much effort to do, even though it wasn't something that I normally did, so yeah. So maintenance is important for people that you feel deserve it.
And see, that's what I'm saying. So when you text a dude and you don't hear from him the next day.
Yep. Exactly.
Unless you know what I'm saying, then you're willing to put up with for, you know what I'm saying? That's fine, because you're not building no foundation. It's the people who you want to build a foundation with. It's the one that you're like.
Exactly. But it kind of goes back to, like you said, Rissy, show who you really are and what you do when you're in the beginning of the relationship, so you don't have to worry about maintaining so much of this image that you've created that is not you. So that's so much dangerous waters. I mean, for me, I just laid out all my insecurities. I was like, this is me. Ba 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 ba.
Take it or leave it, because what's not gonna have not changed nothing.
I ain't improving myself.
Nah, this is what you get. Don't pitch a fit. I got 2 dogs. One dog is allergic. My daughter is allergic to, and I still kept him. It is what it is.
Moving on.
Okay. Takes me a week to get to dishes because I don't like dishes.
My house is cluttered.
I got papers. Like, I need to do a bonfire. Like, I don't even know what some of these papers are. Like, adult life. I don't even know what these papers are. Like, I don't even. They have
to be important, but I don't know what they are.
I don't know, but they've been sitting in my chair, so I don't know if they're really important, because you already get told that if you don't use it in a week, you just.
Right, exactly. But it also goes to like what you're able to, like, other than what you're able to give, but what you're also able to take. So like if you are with a person and that person, let's say, chews with their mouth open, and you're like, oh, I'm dating this person, I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna ignore it, but it really bothers, the bleep out of me, but I'm gonna ignore it. Well, if that person is with you longer term, you're gonna end up suffocating them at one point, because you can't handle it.
Absolutely.
So, like, for me, that is the case, and I've told the person that I'm talking to right now, hey, I can't handle that. So
She said, no, thank you.
No, thank you. So if you have those pet peeves, there's no way you can maintain that for long. So just communicate that. If they're willing to change it, awesome. If they're not, then move on. Don't waste anybody's time.
No, that's all we're saying. Don't, like, maintenance is cool, but do you want to do it? Do you want to do it? Do you want to do it? If you know what kind of like what you work with this person, and they're not, and it's like you hear all this stuff, you're like, damn, it's a lot of work.
Yes.
Like, damn. Then no, let them find someone who they feel is worth all that.
That they're okay with doing that effort and that maintenance,
yes.
Where it may not even be effort for them. You know, at the end of the day, that could be their natural thing. So then it makes it even easier, you know, that they do that. So, but with that, we do got to get back to work, Rissy. So let's do our final thoughts.
Final thoughts. So this is my 30 seconds. Great topic, Kaninja, as always. Dating maintenance. It is, hey, you're with this person, and this person isn't something that you can just put on the shelf, walk away, and still expect it to be working and being efficient. It's not. You have to put the work in. You got to put the time in and the effort. And it only is not difficult. It is not difficult if you really care and you really want to do it. So if you look at the maintenance and you know what you got to work with, and then you're just like, I don't know about this, let them go. Exactly. Let them go. And that's my 30 seconds.
I love it. I love it. No, definitely. I mean, also when you are dating someone in the beginning, just make sure you show them who you truly are. Don't put on this normal person, this extravagant persona that I'm Prince Charming, or I'm this amazing woman that can do everything. Don't put up those airs, because that's not something that you can maintain on a daily basis, because they will see that and they will see through that, and they will be upset with you because you made that change. You gave them false pretenses of who you were, and that's just not cool either way. So be honest with them when it comes to that. So then you really know how much maintenance you need to do, or are willing to do, or are able to do. So all that's my 30 seconds. Just make sure you're being truthful to the person that you're talking to. If you want it to be more of a foundation and not just like a wink wink and a hint hint, you know what I mean? So with that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and you check out our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Send us your feedback on there. It is usually where we put our updates and anything that we are going to be doing in the future. And let us know what you think about dating maintenance. Is it important? Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it worth it? What is your feedback? What is your advice for us as we're going through the dating life and journey for all of us? Give us the knowledge.
Give us the knowledge, please.
Exactly. So with that, Rissy, what are you going to be doing?
I'm going to pick my baby. I need to get my nails done because I broke 2 of them. Chipped 2 of them. So it needs to get done like today. Because if I don't get my nails done, it gets worse.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Well,
what
awesome.
Would you, yeah.
I'm gonna try to declutter my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plug into our previous episode, trying to get back to the norm. So
yes. Our uncut stuff.
Our uncut. So with that, bye, break room buddies.
Bye.
See you next time.